Okay, I'm back. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, and this is going to be number 201 of what I learned today. I took a break for like a couple weeks, but now I'm back. And I want to talk about today. You read the title. It's kind of just 3 things that are more important and that you need to prioritize a little bit more in your life than you realize. I did these 3 things over this break, and it made me realize how important they are and how much more I need to prioritize them. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So before we get into these 3 things, I kind of wanted to define my terms kind of thing. Basically, I wanted to say that when things are more important than we realize, I wanted to mention that importance right now, how I'm defining importance, is it just has an impact. So in this case, these are three things that have more of an impact on your life than you realize they do, and impact in different ways. So whether that's an emotional impact or an impact on your goals and your progress in life, things like that. So that's kind of how I'm defining importance in this situation, right? Things that have an impact on your life. And they have more of an impact than you realize because they're seemingly small. They have a seemingly small amount of impact, but they're really a lot bigger than we realize, and we need to prioritize them because of that. So I just wanted to kind of define that, get that out of the way before we continue. Okay, so the first thing that leaves more of an impact on your life than you realize is something that leaves an emotional impact, and that is your relationships. So one of the main reasons why I took such a long break from posting these What I Learned Today videos every single day is because I had a camp. It was like this church camp, from the church that I go to, and it happened over this past weekend, and it was a lot of fun, right? And the biggest reason why it was so fun for me was because I just was able to hang out with all of my friends. It was just a great time with all of my friends. And after the camp, I was just feeling really sad because I wasn't around all of my friends, right? So that's the first thing that is more important than you realize, your relationships and your friends. I always knew that relationships matter, and I always knew that people on their deathbed, they're always thinking prioritize your relationships rather than your work. And I always knew that, but I never really took action on that. And I've just been realizing I just really want to hang out with my friends so much more, because all of these things that I'm talking about, their whole one thing that they all do is that they all make me feel renewed for the future and happy in the present. So those are 2 things that all of these 3 impactful things do in our lives, right? They're impactful for 2 reasons. They make us feel renewed for the future and happy in the present. And that's exactly, when I'm hanging out with my friends, I feel so much happier than when I'm just alone doing work, right? I was just so happy all of camp, and it was just so fun. And then I feel renewed for the future. After that, I just feel so much better for the school's about to start again, and I just feel so much better. And I just feel renewed to do the things that I would need to do. And it also gives me motivation to do certain things so that I can, go hang out with them afterwards or something like that, right? So that's the first thing, which is just your relationships. You need to be prioritizing your relationships. I wanted to talk about kind of what good relationships look like, and I think we all know what they look like. I just think that some people know this, but they don't kind of realize it within their own friends. I do think that you need to make sure that you actually have good friends. Thankfully, I'm blessed to have great friends, but not everyone has that. So I just think that it's important that you kind of reevaluate if needed to make sure that your friends are just solid friends who aren't just using you, right? It's a mutual loving relationship. One of my favorite verses is Proverbs 18:24, which is, "A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." Personally, this has been true for me. Thank the Lord, I have a friend who sticks basically closer than a brother or sister or sibling or whatever, right? So that's one of my favorite verses that I think if you have a friend like that, it's very encouraging. And it's also just I don't know, it's just one of my favorite verses when thinking about friends, but also just in general, you need to make sure that your friends are not just using you. You need to make sure your friends it's a mutual loving relationship. If you're Christian, you want to make sure your friendship is like focused on Christ, right? If you're a Christian. But just generally, like, you want friends that will stick around, and you want friends that will celebrate your wins and won't get jealous and will also be with you in your losses, right? You want those kinds of friends, and we all know that. It seems pretty obvious, but I think sometimes you can get kind of caught in you can like someone and want to be their friend for a certain reason and neglect all of the red flags kind of thing, right? Also, I just think I've been getting a few comments about like, what if you're just like really lonely, right? And you just like don't have friends and you don't really know what to do. Personally, I don't think I'm kind of qualified to answer this question. I would just say that like, if you are like consistently going somewhere, right, where there like people consistently go, like, and you are consistently going to this thing at like same days, same times, eventually there will be people that you can talk to and that you can find similarities with, right? All of your friends, there is some kind of similarity within your friends. Now, it may not be outward, it may be inward, it may be like, maybe it's how you think, maybe it's how you dress, maybe it's how you, like, where you're, like, the place that you're going to, right? You can get super broad. But I think if you're going somewhere consistently and you're just around the same people consistently, eventually you will be able to find your people, right? So I think that's the first thing that I think is really important. Like, I go to church, so I'm consistently going to church on Sundays and consistently going to youth group on Wednesdays. So it's just the same people, and I've been going to this church for a while, so I've built this group of friends, right? And, you know, praise the Lord for that, right? Like, I'm very glad for that. And like, I can say it's very similar for all those other people who are like in my youth group or things like that. So I think that's one thing, just having somewhere that you can just go to consistently, just see the same people consistently. Eventually you will be able to meet some people. And then just like in those conversations, like, first of all, you have to be proactive, which is very hard. It's very hard to be proactive and just like go up to a random person and start talking to them, especially if they're not reciprocating your conversation. So it is very hard, but hard things take time and hard things take practice. You just have to do it a lot. You just have to practice it a lot. So just like, if you're going to this place consistently, then just like go up to someone that you like can compliment. Like, maybe you can compliment their fit or like how they look, or like maybe you notice something about them and you like want to compliment them. Do that. I think that's a good way to start conversations. Just like compliment them on something, and then like slowly like ask questions, try to find similarities between you guys, so you can just find relatability, just slowly like get to know each other, right? Obviously, like I said, it's very hard, but hard things take practice. And then like, if you're going to that place consistently, then just like continually go up to that same person, right? And just like build that common, like, you're just consistently like going and saying hi to this person and like talking to them about things like that. You know, it seems very simple, but it is very hard. So I think just being consistent is very important, and just being proactive is very important. So that's what I have to say, because I have been getting some comments about that, and hopefully that's helpful for you guys. It's probably things you already know, but it requires action, right? Knowledge requires action. You can't do anything with knowledge unless you actually take action on it. So if that's your problem, then hopefully that's helpful for you. So that's the first thing that leaves an impact on you more than you realize. It's kind of small. It seems like just like, oh, they're just my friends, but then really, like, if you hang out with them for 3 days straight and then you don't hang out with them for 3 days straight, like, I got really sad and lonely because I missed all my friends. I'm just like, wow, this left a big emotional impact on me. So that's the first thing. Prioritize your relationships. Prioritize spending time with not just friends, but also family. Don't just be by yourself all the time, because I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but definitely for me, I can be I could definitely just stay in my room all day. I could definitely very easily just stay alone and be alone in my room, but you have to creep out at some point, and you have to prioritize your relationship. So that's the first thing. that leaves an emotional impact on your life and makes you happy in the present and renewed for the future. The second thing that leaves more of an impact on your life than you realize, and also, makes you happy in the present and feel renewed for the future, is something that leaves an impact on your progress in life, like your goals, things like that. And that is retrospection. So thankfully, I was able to make these three things like alliteration. So they all start with R. So there's relationships, and now there's retrospection. So retrospection is just looking back on the past, basically. Something that I did earlier today, I was clearing out like my digital, kind of doing like a digital declutter before I like started making these videos again. Just want to make sure that I had everything right. And I found these old videos of like 2 years ago and beyond, like things that were like 5 years ago. And it was just very like, wow, I've come so far. Like I saw a video that was like I made 2 years ago, and it's of me talking about how I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And the quality was so bad. The audio quality was really bad. The camera footage was like stoppery and you couldn't really see. And it was like me talking about how I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And then I was thinking about like, wow, I have a YouTube channel and I have 1,700 people who like are listening to me and like want to hear from me. And I'm like helping people and I'm building this community. And it was just super cool because I don't even remember making that video. But it was just really cool. So I was able to look on the past and just make me feel happy because it made me realize like, wow, I've come so far, but also make me feel renewed for the future because I know that like if I keep doing this, then eventually I'll look back on where I am now and I'll be thinking, wow, I've come so far, right? So this is also making me feel happy in the present and renewed for the future. So yeah, just looking back at how far you've come with your progress in whatever thing you're doing, right? Just it gives you so much motivation and it gives you a sense of renewal and happiness, like I just said. So I think just look back at like whatever goals you're trying to work on, like whether that's like maybe you're working out or maybe you have like a YouTube channel like me or you have something similar. Just look back at like a year ago. Like maybe even a year ago you hadn't even started this. You weren't even thinking of doing this, but now you like have started this thing and you're like doing pretty well with it. You're being consistent, right? Things like that. Just like look back on the past and see how far you've come because you've probably made a lot more progress than you realized. And it's just always so encouraging. It's very encouraging. So this is something that makes an impact on your progress because it helps you like feel motivated so you can like continue to have more progress, right? And then the last thing that starts with R that leaves more of an impact on your life than you realized is something that kind of just leaves an impact on your whole life, just in general, and that is rest. I guess this is kind of the theme for this whole video because I just took a long break from making these videos and I just realized how important that is. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about like personally for me, and I just want to talk about how rest is important within all of that. So within my YouTube, a lot of my friends and family were saying that like maybe I shouldn't be posting every single day because it can get very exhausting. And I do think that is true. It is very easy for me to get tired of doing this and just be like, staying up late, doing all that kind of thing, which is another kind of rest that I'm compromising. So kind of a solution that I'm doing for that is that I'm kind of changing like my content schedule, if that makes sense. So I'm still going to be posting every single day, but I'm just giving myself more time to like edit and polish these videos. So instead of, you probably don't care about this, but instead of filming, editing, posting all in one night, I'm going to film at night and then edit and post it the next day. So I just have a little bit more time to edit things, but I'm still going to be like posting every single day. So you're probably watching this maybe on Thursday, February 20th, which is the next day, which is tomorrow for me right now. So that's one thing about rest. Like I took a long break and it made me feel like I said, it made me feel happy in the present. It just made me feel relieved that I didn't have to make a video every single day. Definitely for the first like week, I was just like, wow, I don't have to make a video. This is great. But it also helped me feel renewed for the future, right? So I just felt very like I was getting antsy and I was like, oh, I need to be making a video. But I was like really excited about making this video. So I'm just like renewed for the future and ready to like start it back up again and make these videos that are helpful to you guys and just better quality and just helpful for myself and for you guys, and just trying to be as valuable and helpful as possible. So that's the first kind of rest subsection that I want to talk about. The second thing is just like sleep. I've just been realizing that I needed so much more sleep than I thought. Now, over camp, I did not get that much sleep, but it was camp, so I'm kind of okay with that. But just like, I don't have school, so I've just been able to sleep in, and it's just been great. It's helped me feel so happy in the present that I just have no obligations and I could just sleep in, but also help me feel renewed for the future so that when I wake up, I am ready to tackle whatever rest of the day is left, even if it's not that long, right? So just in general, rest is very important, and it's probably more important than you realize. I don't think you should be prioritizing like your goals over your rest, because your goals a lot of times don't have a very serious deadline. Now, the thing for me is that I was putting that deadline on myself, and I was prioritizing my goals over my sleep because I was prioritizing making these videos over sleeping. So I was prioritizing that because I had a deadline for myself that I need to get these videos out every single day. So yeah, what was I saying? Don't prioritize your goals over your rest, because rest is very important. It's so much more important. There's so many studies and just scientific research that has been done to show that rest, like, it helps with working out. It helps like the muscle growth with working out. It helps with your mental clarity. It helps with your mood. It helps with literally everything. But it is so underrated. Like, people do not prioritize their rest as much as they should. So hopefully if you're watching this, that's helpful for you. Like, maybe you have only been getting like 5 hours of sleep, but it should really probably be a lot more than that. And you should really prioritize your sleep a lot more. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. 3 things that are just more important than you realize. They leave an impact on your life a little bit more than you realize. Your action point is to just prioritize these things more. Like, these things are bigger than they seem, right? Your relationships they may not seem important now, but especially in the hard times and in the good times, they're very important. Your rest is you don't realize its importance until you really, really, really need it. And that's what burnout is. So you want to try to prevent that, right? So it's very important in that regard. And then just like looking back on the past, like, if you're just continually keeping your head down, continually grinding or whatever, you're not going to feel grateful or thankful, and you're not going to have motivation, because, like, yeah, maybe discipline will get you there, but you're not going to be happy in the present and renewed for the future, like I was saying, right? So prioritize these things. Prioritize your relationships, your retrospection, and your rest, because these will help you be happy in the present and renewed for the future, so that you can continue to pursue these things and get more things done and, do all that kind of stuff. So that is what I have learned over the past couple weeks. It's not just today, because this is kind of just the 3 things that I did over this break, and I just wanted to share what I've learned from that. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, then definitely give it a like and a comment if you have any thoughts. Hopefully this season 3 of What I Learned Today will be a really big season. I'm just trying to, like I said, be as helpful as possible. I have a Patreon, so that the link's in the description. There's a free and a paid version, but there's not really much difference between the two. I think I'm going to release these videos like kind of early access on my Patreon if you're a paid member. So new perk there. But also just discussion posts, community discussions, things like that on my Patreon for free. So if you want to join that, there's the link in the description. I'm going to be trying to post more shorts, better thumbnails, better videos, just better content, and just more valuable stuff for you guys. Because I just want to be as helpful as possible, and I also just want to glorify God as much as possible with this channel. That's kind of the goal right now. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. This video is my February monthly video. So this is something that's just not a What I Learned Today. It's more of just like an overall, like, ultimate guide video about time management. I just really proud of that video, even though it's not very well produced. It has lots and lots of value. So if you struggle with procrastination and time management, then definitely click that video. You can subscribe in that corner. And if you subscribe, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Back to daily posts. Bye.